Welcome to the Hanley Effect, a podcast by the Hanley Foundation designed to educate, change minds, and save lives. Our goal is to inspire you, showcase our innovations, and change the conversation about addiction and mental health. Join us as we unravel stories of resilience, recovery, and hope.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Hanley Effect. I'm John Diven.
I am Rachel Dosical.
Dr. Rachel Dosical, how are you today?
I'm good, Dr. D. How are you?
I'm glad we're doing this again.
Me too.
I like hanging with you and getting we work together all the time, but it's always like busy, and it's always taking care of patients and figuring out how to do things. So it's always cool to kind of sit here and just chat a little bit.
This is our happy place.
It is.
We love it.
And we
today extra happy with our guests
because we have double your pleasure, double your fun. Is that right?
Yes.
Well, we have double the guests today. We have two guests today, and today, can I introduce them?
Please
today?
do.
All right,
please do.
I get to introduce you guys again. So today we have Mike Rogers and James Bartle. Now let's talk about Mike and James for a second.
Okay.
Very different people. Just thought about that for a second. I mean, we couldn't. So we have a businessman and we have a skateboard pro. Mm-hmm. So it couldn't be more different, but yet they're very, very, very much connected and both here to tell us stories about recovery, about their own recovery, but also about what it is to support others in recovery. So,
Great.
Mike and James, we want to say thank you guys and welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. For sure.
Welcome.
So we like to start by asking you to tell us a little bit about what you do, who you are, what you do, but also your journey. What brought you to doing what you do? So I'm going to let you guys fight over who goes first, but Mike, why don't you start?
Sure. I grew up down here in South Florida. I moved from, I was born in Florence, South Carolina, 1966. And then I moved to Lake Worth, Florida in 1968, 69. Lake Worth, and I lived right off 10th Avenue and grew up there. And then I graduated from Lake Worth High School in 1985. And we were right by the beach. So when I was younger in high school, we would go surf and skate down there at the beach during lunch break. So it was good growing up here in South Florida. And then the summer of 1998, June 26th, I went to the Easy Does It and became sober. I've been 27 years in June this year, 27 years sober. And being sober, you can accomplish many things. With me and doing your 12-step, 11-step is being a service. So that's where me and James come in. We do this event to help people get on the journey of sobriety, and you can accomplish many things in your life with sobriety, So that's kind of my story. And then I became a YMCA skate park director at one of the busiest skate parks in the South Florida to this day. It was before the internet, so once people were active. We were doing 90 kids every 3 hours. On a Saturday, we had 350 kids in there. Couldn't get some of them to leave. So I did that for 8 years. And in 2003, I came back with my sarcoma. I'm a 2-time sarcoma survivor. They're soft cancer tissues, super duper rare. 1% of all cancers are sarcomas. They're super rare. A lot of doctors don't even know what they look at when they see them. So I'm a survivor of that, and I'm a survivor every day to being a sobriety person. So, yeah, this is a great fit, the barbecue and James and all the stuff. So that's my little borrow there.
and we're going to ask a little bit more specifically about that barbecue and what it is. And we want to talk about the foundation and what that event does. I didn't realize that so I was born and raised in Lake Worth, grew up here all my life, was in Lake Worth High School until, but didn't finish there, but spent a year there. And grew up right around 10th Avenue and the half pipe down there where my brother would skate and everything. everybody, you know, and I would just be the dorky kid that wished he could. You were the cool kids.
Well, we had a 10th Avenue ditch right there.
That's right.
That was like, there's the 10th Avenue ditch, and then you had Skateboard Safari. It was built a little during that time, you know, in the late 70s. We did have a skate park. It was Skateboard Safari. It was like Lake Lotto Park. It was short-lived because in insurance issues, and then the airport kind of wanted that property back. So it kind of faded kind of quick.
Yeah, it's Lake Worth. It's a really, really cool place if you actually spend a lot of time there.
Right.
You mentioned something though. So you've survived this cancer twice, and the first time you were pretty young.
Yeah, 10 years old to have a sarcoma at 10. There was only 6 cases in the United States.
Wow.
I'm a survivor of that youth cancer. By the was lucky enough that there was the Miami Children's Clinic back then, and down in Miami we have the best eye institute for rare cancers or anybody who has a super gnarly, very hard to treat eye disease. We got the Baskin Palmer Eye Institute in Miami, best in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I was lucky because I was only an hour and a half away.
Wow.
So that I love that because and I guess because you know, when I think of someone suffering that as an adult, that's tough. When I think about suffering that as a kid, and I love hearing you talk when you say, you know, man, I'm so lucky. And I wonder how much of that has to do with those 20-something years of recovery, because it would be easy to say, I was a kid, an innocent kid, victim of this, and now I'm a victim of this. Yep. And yet you're just saying how lucky you are. Yeah. How much of that is related to recovery?
It's all sobriety. So if I didn't have the 12-step in my life, the second battle with all the home issues, all the broken family stuff, you know, that's where the Hanley thing is so good, because it has all those programs for everybody. And there's a lot of broken people down here in Palm Beach County. So to have the Hanley Foundation with all those programs, all the virtual stuff that you can do now, people can do it virtually. You guys are just crushing it. So yeah, look at all the stuff that you guys accomplished over all these years. Before we wouldn't talk about our sobriety.
Right. Right.
We wouldn't talk about our mental illness. Now there's programs for people. You can come out easily about things, you know. So before you didn't have that before. Now you can come out with, if you have this disorder, like I was dyslexic, I never could spell or write. Now I can come out about it and say, yeah, I got it on my LinkedIn profile. So then people know how to treat that person with that disorder, you know. So alcoholism, you know, you got to have a 12-step if you're from a broken home, and you got to really work it, you know. So you just don't get sober and stay sober. You got to want to stay sober. So that's where the barbecue comes in. And you guys, the Hanley and all of us, we're making a difference in people's lives because they can come out and feel comfortable about it, you know, and come and skate, barbecue. It's not all about the skating. It's about the sobriety, staying healthy, staying active, skateboard in your community, your 12-steppers that you can count on if you need them. Yeah. You know, all that stuff, you know, so
I'll make barbecue and I'll eat barbecue. I'll let you do the skating because we do not want me doing that. But James, what is this? You know, we're talking about this Bartle BBQ and Hang can you talk to us a little bit about what is this? Where did it come from? What's the purpose of this event that you have?
So my nephew Cory Bartle passed away from a fentanyl overdose at the age of 34, and I wanted to do something. I didn't know what. I was going to start a nonprofit. I was going to jump in here. I was going to try to do this, try to do that. And one of our, I work at the National Croquet Center where we have the Bartle BBQ Hang every year. And one of our members said, "You really need to talk to Hanley," and I did. And I had a wonderful conversation, and we turned it into an event, and it worked. I realized what Hanley was all about, that they cared as much, exactly what I was trying to accomplish, is to make people aware of of what's happening around us. I'm the owner of Sandy James Fine Food and Productions. I have a big catering company.
Great catering company.
You're kind of a big deal, James.
No, I'm not.
You are to us.
Yeah, you are.
I work with a lot of people in food and beverage, and there's issues there. That's part of that industry. So I see a lot of it. With Cory, I saw it. We fought it for a long time. I saw the whole thing happening, and after he passed away, I really wanted to do something, and it worked out that we got Mike Brian from Life, right? All of a sudden, his name popped up. Certain people's names popped up, and that everybody kind of just said, "Yeah, let's do this and let's make this happen," and it did. And it worked, and we had fun, and we're going to do it again. And I think we're going to have more fun this year. Yeah. We've got some different surprises for everybody this year that I think that we're working on hard. That I think is going to make it a little bit more exciting.
And what's the what is the support? This event.
The support actually comes from a lot of different people. That very surprisingly, a lot of people a lot of my clients, a lot of people that I'm in touch with, but then the community. I mean, people that last year, the first year I kind of knew almost everybody, but last year I didn't know hardly anybody. It was a whole big. It was just a lot of different people with families and kids that I saw walking. Like, who were they? Who were they? And, wow! And they actually came to have a fun day, and they did. And they left, and they left with. Mike here brought all kinds of goodie bags for everybody.
We bring a lot of swag for everybody. It's kind of like we do a best trick contest on their level. So whoever wants to come and ride there, hold their hands, and we have helmets for people. We just want to give everybody the experience, what it would be like to ride the half pipe. And the half pipe is really easy to ride. It's wood. So if you do fall, you're falling on wood. You're not falling on concrete. Yeah. You know, it's really light skating, but we have some high caliber skaters that come out though. It draw attention to the families, the Sobriety event, so families feel comfortable. You know, it's a real quick event where you can come and have some great food, have a great experience, and then, you know, people don't have all day for a long event, so this is like the perfect length of an event. What is it, like 3 hours we're doing this?
3 hours, yep, it works really well.
It's like perfect. It's like a half an hour of like demo. We got Alex Sargente this year. He grew up here skating Lake Worth. I coached him from the age of 5, so he was 18, and then he didn't want to be coached anymore. He wanted to show everybody he could do it. And he's from Lake Worth here. We've never had a world champion skateboarder from South Florida, so we have Alex coming out this year. He's a 2-time X Games gold medalist.
Yes, he is.
And a 2-time global park champion. So he's
incredible.
Accomplished all his goals in his young 20s.
We were texting him while he was in the Olympics this year. It was kind of cool.
Wow. Over there. That's unreal.
So I think it's going to be very exciting to have him here.
Yeah.
So there are a couple things I love about this event. So first of all, you really help kids of all ages, but really there are some kids who have never skateboarded before that I see you put on the half pipe and you show them what to do, all the way up to experts, all these different levels of competence.
Yeah, that's the years of doing skateboard programs, you know, like having structured skateboarding doesn't fit with skateboarding. Actually, with me, I'm the goody two shoes of skateboarding. So I kind of wear my pads. I treat it as respectful. Like the skateboard will hurt you. It's very hard to skateboard.
You
it's
yell
not
at them
easy.
To put the helmet on. Put the helmet on.
That's right.
That's right. Everybody put the helmet on.
And I do it always at a skate park. You know, I'm not out there street skating, breaking off myself. I'm doing it in a structured environment. And like a lot of competitions are at skate parks, and you can approach skateboarding 2 ways. You can be the renegade or you can be the professional. So it's Alex and a lot of guys from South Florida, like top-notch skaters in the world, are from South Florida now from the programs. Like Hanley has a good program, get you on a 12-step, and then you get your mind, body, and spirit in order, and then you get your athleticism back. You get your wellness and your happiness going on your skateboard. So that's where the Hanley effect in skateboarding, it's a great combination with the barbecue, because then you have people out there that's getting their sobriety and they're skateboarding, and there's great food. James is out there rocking the food. And so it's you can't get a better event for that. And this year, I think we're going to pack it out. This is year 3.
Yeah,
we grew it from, we've been learning each year. Now we found the formula. So now we just.
That's it. We found the formula.
We found the formula. Like the partner with Hanley and the ramp and me with all the experience and you with all the experience with the food. And Hanley's been doing this forever, helping people get on the right path with the 12-step.
So Hanley, we have something really special called the Lifesaver Scholarship Fund. And every dollar that's raised for scholarships goes to help people in their treatment and in their aftercare find recovery. James, we didn't talk about this before. I hope you don't mind me telling our listeners, but not only does every penny raised at this event go to scholarships, but you cover all the costs. So this event it's 100%. 100% of every single penny goes back to help save lives. And you have saved lives in Cory's name.
Oh, that's good.
Can't get better than that, can it?
Can't get better than that.
That's what we call sobriety at its best, man.
I also think that it's the help of the community that's coming together. I think that what Hanley's doing and you had just mentioned earlier when you were talking, Mike, that Hanley is making mental illness not a bad thing.
Right.
It's making because it used to be not that long ago.
Right.
And I think
it's still a struggle.
It's still a huge struggle. It's still a huge struggle, but people are talking about it. You know, and I bring up my employees. I have a lot of them, and they have struggles, and you can see them. But it's making everybody more aware that there's an issue here that we have to deal with versus shunning them or all of a sudden treating them differently. It's like, wait a second, what's wrong? Oh, then you dig in a little bit deeper and you realize that there's something that's wrong that we can fix.
That's right.
And we do fix it.
That's right.
Instead of deciding that person doesn't belong with us anymore, we're actually accepting them and saying, and it's not just coming from me, it's coming from my staff as well. And I can see them helping each other. And I think that it's the Hanley effect. It's like they're realizing that there's this works. Like, wait a second, this person can be helped.
Yeah.
And
that's
maybe it'll take a little bit of time and a little bit of compassion, but it works. And I think that's one of my biggest things that I've seen at in my life with Hanley that's changed us as a group of people, which is we have a great group of people that work for me. Is that they're
amazing.
They're amazing.
They're amazing.
But they're amazing. But they've also their eyes have been opened, I think, by the whole Hanley effect, as we'll say, by us partnership with Hanley and being doing your events and working with you. They realize, wow, this is a thing. This is a really good thing, and it's changing people's lives.
It's changing people's lives.
Even just a little bit. I always say it doesn't have to go. It can just a little tiny bit at a time makes a big difference.
Yeah. You know, one of our goals at Hanley is that one of these days, instead of saying mental illness, we just say illness. So if you have the flu, I say, oh, you have an illness. Right. If you have cancer, you have an illness. Right. If, whatever. Why do we have to say mental illness? Right. I want us all to just start saying illness.
And it's small things like that are contagious.
They are contagious.
When you're talking, I think about the word contagious because I've never, I get to be at our events and I've gotten to know some of your staff.
Yeah. We love them so much.
Them, but I never thought until this moment that they're there. Like they're at every event. They're hearing alumni tell stories of going from devastation, and it is contagious.
It works.
The good is contagious as well, and it's just I'm just thinking about how environments impact us, and every moment, every one of us gets to be a part of an environment, and we're impacting people we don't. I never even thought about how impacted your team would be by hearing those stories and being, but of course, it makes total sense. That's beautiful.
It makes sense, and it's not being pushed on them.
Yeah.
They're just there.
Yeah.
And I mean, and with my business, we are very fortunate to be invited into rooms where there's very interesting conversations going on that we're not supposed to talk about or hear about, but we hear them.
Sure.
Especially with what's going on in the world. And I have a high-end catering company, so we are in rooms and in halls and lecture halls with all kinds of information. And a lot of my staff does try to, like, wow, somebody just paid a lot of money to be in this room. I'm going to listen to this. And I think that's what's happening with the Hanley effect with my staff. They're like, wait a second, we're listening to this. This is happening. Wow, this is true. Wow, my uncle, my brother, my cousin, my this. I could maybe try to help. This is an idea that's working for these people. And I think that's what's carrying on. And I can see that actually happening with my staff, which I think is really cool.
I love that.
That's good stuff, man.
I just want to share with you the impact that you made on Mary Jane Hanley. So before she passed, she came and visited Hanley Center in January 2023. You remember. Yeah. And you and your team collaborated with Chef Tim and our team at Hanley and produced just the most exquisite dinner. And the impact, the kindness, the empathy, the sense of purpose that you and your team brought to that event was not lost on her, and she talked about it. So thank you.
That makes me very, very happy.
It was amazing.
That's great.
It was amazing.
That was. I'll bring Jessica up. That was my Jessica. She's
incredible.
She's incredible. Yep.
Yeah, we love Jessica so much.
Everybody knows Jessica, and everybody loves and appreciates Jessica. And she leads your team, man,
incredibly.
Masterfully.
And I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, but Jessica's sober as well. And so, she's someone that wasn't sober. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm going to. But she.
If not, you'll be in trouble with her.
I'll be in trouble with her.
Not us.
But
that's right.
No. But she definitely went through her trials and tribulations, and I kept her on. She did go to rehab. She went to California. She was gone for months and months and months. And I said, let's not lose Jessica. Let's keep her working. Right. Let's keep her. She needed health insurance to pay for it, and so I kept her on, and they let her work remotely now and again, and she did, and she fixed computer problems and all kinds of stuff, and then then COVID hit, and all of a sudden, she was in North Carolina, and I'm like, come back, please, come back. She's like, really? I'm like, yes, come back.
So
yes.
She's incredible.
So thinking then about, you're an employer, right? You have a large company, you're an employer of a lot of people. There are going to be people who are employers here who just heard that. I think that's a really interesting thing to spend a second on. Why, if someone, why not just get rid of someone? And when it comes to, especially people in the food industry and the service industry, you're absolutely right. There's so much addiction and substance use disorders are really, really prevalent. And why not just get rid of them? If somebody is a restaurant owner or a catering co, why would you say, hey, think about not just getting rid of these people?
Because I think everyone has value. We don't know exactly what that is, but everybody has value. And if you look and find out what that is, not everyone's a great chef. Not everyone's a great party planner. Not everyone's a great florist. But we all have something that we can offer. And if you can find that something and make it work, and we spend time and energy in working on that to make this employee part of the family, all of a sudden when they're going through a bad time, I don't want to kick them to the curb. I want to fix the illness, as we will say now, which I'm now going to start using illness. Yeah.
All right, one convert.
Fix the illness versus bringing in somebody else off this that we don't know that may look perfect and act perfect, but the same. It's called life, and so I'd rather spend the time with the people that have worked for me that are going through bad times and make it and help them be there as a support system versus saying no. Of course, there are issues that I can't fix, and I've
Right.
done what I
Right.
can do, and I have to make decisions about, this person's not going to work for a while, or I never say to anybody that they have to get sober or they have to get help because we all know that's their decision, and until that happens, but when they do, a lot of them come back. I'll say, can I come? Yeah, come on back. It's good.
So good.
I have to ask this follow-up because I'm really curious. Because that answer that people have worth, people have value, where'd that come from? Where did you develop that sense?
I don't know. I think that's the way that my mother taught me. My twin brother, I had a twin brother who was Cory's father, that had a accident, quadriplegic, and I was his caretaker for 30 years. So I think that had a lot to. I was around a lot of people that were caretakers, that were helping, and I think maybe that probably rubbed off on me a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, I think it probably did. And so I think helping him, because he was at a disadvantage because of the fact that he was, Mike has stories of Cory.
Yeah, like Cory's dad used to come out there and watch him skate when he was in the chair, so.
Wow.
My brother had a pretty good idea what he wanted to do, even though he was in the wheelchair. He thought he was still, running marathons. And so with Cory, it was great that we had an option that we could drop Cory off with Mike and know that he was going to be okay and we would get there. But taking care of my brother for those many years, I think that led me to open my eyes maybe a little bit about people and what's really inside versus
And what's
just
really
what's outside.
important. Yeah,
And what's really important? That's another thing that what really is important. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key that we get out of this, because you both have stories of they're both I'm a therapist, so I'm always curious why, how did you develop this sense, and the years and years of recovery and service and having lost a nephew to this disease and being, but it's pretty clear that there's something deeper. And so you've got Mom who taught you some.
I think that's a lot to do with it. But I also think, we're in the people business. And so we deal with people. I deal with people pretty well. I always have. I don't know where that came from, but I always say, like, the billionaires like to be treated just like everybody else. Sure. If you treat a billionaire like you treat a dishwasher, you're not judging anybody. It's just who they are. They're called people. Yep. And I think that's the way that I've always thought that that's the way that there should be an evil level playing. It's not about how much money you have or what kind of car you drive or how big's your house or what you do for a living. It's about people. This is what you do. And what are they giving? Or what's the big picture? And I think that's why, I don't have an issue. Some people are like, if you know me really well, you know that I was in shorts and a t-shirt, and you can't go see that, you can't go to that client's house looking like that. And I'm like, yeah, they like me like that because they're going to think that they've got to that's who I am. And that's who they are. And there's a sense of ease because they know that I'm not trying to buy something or sell them something, all that stuff that they go through every day.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a genuineness about you it's very comforting.
James got a lot of empathy, man. You got a lot of empathy in you, man.
So
you've been through a lot, so that's where that empathy comes through. As your brother and all that, so.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just, I don't know. It's a good way to be.
Yeah, it's a good quality, man.
I think this guy right here, same thing.
That's why we're a good team, all of us.
That's why we have a great team of people together for this fundraiser that I hope is going to bring in more money this year, and we're going to have more fun. And I think it's very cool that we have the National Croquet Center. I'm going to throw their name in there because they are letting us.
They're wonderful.
Well, they're letting us. Mike's like they're letting us put a half pipe at the croquet center.
Yes.
Yeah, that doesn't happen every day.
That doesn't happen now.
But that just
And a
shows you how
band.
good the event is, like that's how professional it is and the sobriety of it and how many people were helped from that event. It goes a long way. And
Surfer Blood, we've got Surfer Blood, and they're back with us. They've signed on to it, so they were great last year.
They were
fantastic.
fantastic.
Really good.
They were really good.
They were really good, and I think we're going to have
so fun.
We're going to bring the party like we did last year up to the actual veranda. So the air conditioning is there. If the weather's bad, it's not going to really matter. The first year we had
was
issues.
way down, yeah.
It was different over there next to the lake. This year it's going to be, or last year it was. We decided last minute to bring it closer, and I think it worked really well.
Really worked.
Really
Yeah,
well.
that was
Really
the ticket.
worked.
For those that are listening, when is this event and where can they find out more information about it?
We're looking at September 14th at the 13th Croquet place. National Croquet over there off.
September 13th, 4 o'clock, the National Croquet Center, 700 Florida Mango, right next to the zoo, West Palm Beach, very easy to get to. And everyone is welcome. We can go onto the Hanley website and buy tickets.
Yep.
And we want everybody to come, please.
Very
wonderful.
good. So that's our HanleyFoundation.org website, and they can
great.
find. All right, navigate to tickets.
Bartle BBQ.
Guys, we have run out of time, but we like to take the last minute and give you each an opportunity to think about one last message. What is one thing that you would want our listeners to hear? And our listeners are they're people in recovery. They're people who are struggling with addiction and other illnesses right now. They're people who are family members, friends. They're people in the community. What is one thing that you would want to say to those that are listening?
I think we learned a new word, illness, today. I think we have to all remember that take that mental word out. I love that today, that we actually have a new way of thinking, and that there's help out there. That there's really, we are very, very fortunate to live in South Florida. We're in this place where there's help. And it's right here.
It's available.
You have to be able to reach out and grab it. It's there for you.
Beautiful.
Get it.
I love it.
And how about you, Mike?
Yeah, it only works if you work it. So there's a lot of help out there. People are willing to help you. So Hanley, everybody go to their website and go there and get the work that you need for your illness, and you'll be very happy.
Man, Mike and James, thank you both so much for being
was
here today.
so fun.
Love this.
Thank you
Can't wait for
both.
the event.
No, thank you guys.
Thanks for
Dr.
having
D,
us.
Dr. D.
love being with you as always.
I know. It was a great one
It
today.
is super fun.
So fun.
And thanks to everybody who's listening or watching. We'll see you next time on The Hanley Effect.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. See you guys. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for joining us for the Hanley Effect. To learn more about our programs, visit hanleyfoundation.org or call 844-502-4673.